Hello, Shackleton, Darwin, and Patuta and Grange Primary School. It's me, Mr. L-E-W to the I-S. You know the rest, aka Mr. Lewis. Come on, let's do this. We'll find a way together to get through this. Another lesson today by yours truly. It is about relative clauses. We'll be explaining why and when to use them. We'll incorporate relative pronouns. And I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you gained a lot from it. I hope you understand it. It's explained thoroughly and well. Hope you enjoy the tasks that I set. Remember, you can pause the video at any moment and rewind it. There's no rush. And yeah, look forward to see the work you submit. Over and out. Good luck, peace and love. Journalistic writing and an LI is relative clauses. You can pause the video at any moment or rewind it if you need to. There is no rush. I repeat, you can pause or rewind the video at any moment. Take your time. What is a relative clause? A relative clause is something we use to join two sentences together. It's used to add extra information about something or someone. Instead of using full stops and making your writing rigid and too systematic, relative clauses improves fluidity and cohesion. Example, I purchased a new jumper. It is warm and red. I purchased a new jumper that is warm and red. The relative clause is that. Uncle Raymond lives in Australia. He loves Australia. Uncle Raymond lives in Australia, which he loves. So the relative clause is which. Extend the sentence and makes it more enjoyable and entertaining to read. Why you need to learn this? Why? Because without it, your writing will be boring and too predictable. Remember, the whole purpose of writing in any form is to entertain or inform, impart knowledge. If you want readers or your audience members to be engaged, you will include relative clauses in your work. You probably use them all the time without realizing. After this lesson, you should be more aware of these practices and technical terms, making you into an efficient, in-depth, knowledgeable writer with heaps and heaps of confidence. Greater detail. A defining relative clause tells you which noun we are talking about. I like the woman who lives next door. If I don't say who lives next door, then we don't know which woman I mean. The noun in a sentence is referring to the woman in question. A non-defining relative clause gives us extra information about something. We don't need this information to understand the sentence. I live in London, which has some fantastic parts. Everybody knows where London is, so which has some fantastic parts is extra information. The extra information doesn't make sense on its own, but its inclusion adds more components to a boring sentence. It makes it more exciting. Without it, it's not the same. Relative pronouns. Relative pronouns introduce relative clauses, which is a group of words that has both a subject and a verb and a modifying noun in a sentence. Without the relative pronoun, the relative clause would not exist. There has to be a focus on the sentence. The relative pronoun is a hint that alludes to a relative clause and the direction of the sentence. The fly landed. Now let's build it up with a relative clause. The fly that had been buzzing around Sam's head landed on the cake. In this case, the relative pronoun that introduces a relative clause that had been buzzing around Sam's head. At first, we only knew that a fly landed. Now, by adding the relative clause, we have more information about the fly. The whole clause that had been buzzing around Sam's head modifies the noun and the subject, making it more entertaining and exciting. And we learn more information about the sentence. There are different kinds of relative pronouns. Who, which refers to people and the subject. He who overcomes his anger subdues his greatest enemy. Whom refers to people, objects of the verb. She's the woman whom I met in Greece. Whose refers to possessions. Whose keys are on the kitchen counter. Which refers to animals and objects. That is not good language which all understand not. That makes no sense. Wow. That refers to people, things and animals. It's a poor mouse that has only on hole. Where refers to places. Sign your name on the form where I've put a cross. When refers to time. Let's cross the bridge when we come to it. That's also an idiom. Why refer to reasons. I'd like to know the reason why you're so late. What refers to things. Pardon me, I didn't hear what you did. You can pause this slide and reread it again because you'll need it for your tasks. Stop the slides, saying about it again. Okay, your first task. Which words can you use to join these two simple sentences into one complex sentence? You have a choice of 4 relative clauses: who, whose, which, and where. You can choose any of these 4 to change these sentences into one that has a relative clause. Demetrius was a fisherman. He was 18 years old. Demetrius was desperately sad. His parents had disappeared. His home was the island of Kos. It was peaceful and beautiful. His mother had been taken by Poseidon, goddess of the sea. Her eyes were as blue as the ocean. Again, you've got to select the correct relative clause to make the sentences make sense. Your second task is now you have to add more detail to these simple sentences using the joining words in the stars. Write your new sentences in your books. Again, the same choices before: who, whose, which, and where. So you've got to select the correct joining word or relative clause to make it make sense and extend it. The terrifying Minotaur charged at Theseus. The creatures flew and attacked him. The powerful ship sailed carefully through the huge jagged rocks. Jason skillfully used his sword to slay the harpies. Hercules managed to slay the lion. The Hydra had 9 heads. The Greek gods liked to interfere with the lives of the poor mortals. Poseidon sent a powerful, terrifying sea creature called the Kraken. Zeus used a thunderbolt as his weapon. Ariadne handed Theseus a ball of string. May I also remind you that any words you are not familiar with, which I understand, you can use a dictionary of the source to look up more dictionary. You can either access one online using the internet browser or Google, or if you have a dictionary at the ready, open it up and find the word, and then be able to define it and understand the context. Okay, the third task, main task, is you got to join up the correct sentence starts to the embedded clause to the correct sentence ends. For instance, the first one: Bertie, which had sharp teeth, cried bitterly. That doesn't make sense. So you got to match up the red section to the correct green section to the correct blue section. And you can do this in your books. Placement and subject-object. The relative clause can come after the subject or the object of the sentence. We can't drop the relative pronoun. For example, clause after the object of the sentence. May I remind you, the relative clause who and that are interchangeable. They both work. That's why the slash is there. I'm looking for a secretary who or that can use a computer well. She has a son who or that is a doctor. We bought a house which or that is 200 years old. I sent a letter which or that arrived 3 weeks later. More examples of clauses after the subject of the sentence. The people who that live on the island are very friendly. The man who that phoned is my brother. The camera which or that cost £100 is over there. The house which that belongs to Julie is in London. You have to identify the subject, the object, and the verb in the sentence. Continued. Next, let's talk about when the relative pronoun is the object of the clause. In this case, we can drop the relative pronoun if we want to. Again, the clause can come after the subject or the object of the sentence. Here are some examples of the clause after the object. She loved the chocolate which that I bought. So the clause comes after the object, which is the chocolate. And the verb is loved and also bought, because you're doing it. We went to the village which or that Lucy recommended. Okay, so it comes after where you went to. The verb the went, the subject is the village. A clause after the subject. The bike which that I loved was stolen. So the bike which that I loved was stolen. The university which that she likes is famous. The woman who or that my brother loves is from Mexico. The doctor who or that my grandfather liked lives in New York. Okay, so the object is your grandma, the subject is the doctor and love New York. Preposition and relative clauses. A preposition is a word that tells you where or when something is in relation to something else. If the verb in the relative clause needs a preposition, we put it at the end of the clause. For example, listen to. The music is good. Julie listens to the music. It's a very simple sentence. It's joined by a full stop. It changes to the music which or that Julie listens to is good. So the verb is listens and the preposition is to. It comes after the verb. Work with. My brother met a woman, full stop. I used to work with a woman. A very simple sentence again. My brother met a woman who or that I used to work with. Okay, so after the relative clause becomes the verb work and the preposition is with. So you could also put the preposition after the sentence as the last word in the sentence. The country is very hot. He went to the country. This changes to the country which or that he went to is very hot. So went is the verb. The preposition is to. There's a placement. Where is it? He's going to there. Come from. I visited the city. John comes from the city. Again, a very basic sentence, or two sentences. To join together, I visited the city that or which John comes from. Okay, so he comes from there. It's the last word in a sentence. Apply for. The job is well paid. She applied for the job. Very simple, very basic. It changes to the job which or that she applied for is well paid. Okay, so we change the whole sentence, making it more advanced and more enjoyable to read. Your main task. Now, of all this input information, I know I've spoken a lot, there's a lot of information there. Please feel free to go back through the slides and slow it down if need be. But your task now is to create your own sentences using relative clauses. So with all the information input that I've said, you've got to make your own sentences. There's no limit to the scope of this task. Scope means you have a wide parameter to work in. You could write about anything, within reason. The sentences can be wild and imaginative as you like, so use your big brains to make it creative and funny or entertaining. However, nothing too silly or outrageous. This means nothing too silly, dramatic, no guns or weapons, something that, is not suitable. Something that's appropriate for the sentences. The sentences will have to make sense, of course, they have to make sense. You have to create at least 9 sentences. Okay, so 9 individual, creative, imaginative sentences using relative clauses, relative pronouns, and prepositions. You have a wide scope, it's up to you what you do. Remember, the objective is to entertain, demonstrate, or inform. You're demonstrating what you can do, either you're entertaining for us and for your readers, or you're informing us. Please don't forget to take pictures of your work as well as submit them to the Year 6 email address. The most exquisite and entertaining examples of work will be included in Miss Begum's shout-out video, so look forward to that. There'll be some certificates available, golds, rubies, sapphires, so a lot of incentives there. Certificates, autographs, I said that. We look forward to reading your sentences. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, hope it made sense, and we are looking forward to see the work you submit. Peace and love, and I'll see you soon.